Lewis Hamilton, congratulations on your 94th win, your seventh championship. How does it feel to win another one, particularly in this crazy year?
Thank you. It's been such a crazy roller coaster ride this year. Of course, not who would have thought we would be in a pandemic? And there was a period of time where the season got cancelled. We didn't know if it was going to happen again. I know that so many people were struggling, people not getting back to work, people losing their jobs. I mean, what a challenge it's been. And I'm grateful that we got to go still race, but then it's been intense, like one race after the other, just compacted into 6 months. So it's definitely been a real challenge, but I think we did a good job with it.
It always seems like a lifetime ago that the Melbourne Grand Prix at Albert Park was cancelled almost at the last minute. Fans were at the gates. I mean, you couldn't have imagined what was in front of you.
Not really, but I remember. I mean, of course, I never knew what was going to happen moving forwards from them. But I do remember going to we were already in testing in Spain, and we were already seeing the cases rising. And I'm like, there's no way, surely we can be going to Australia. Why they even let us in? And because obviously, Italy at the time was leading in its cases, which was terrifying. And we had a team from Italy, so went back and went off to Australia. And I remember getting there, and that's when I said on the Thursday I was there, I was like, I can't believe we're here, to be honest. I mean, I thought it was appalling that we were there. And anyways, the next day it got cancelled. And, I just remember driving in and seeing all the fans, nobody wearing masks and nobody, no social distancing at the time. And I was just concerned for everyone. I was thinking if there's more and more people come here, there's definitely more people going to get ill. And so I'm grateful they stopped it.
After your win in Istanbul recently, where you clinched your seventh world title, you said your victory celebration was to go home, watch the replay, and have some minestrone soup. How was the soup?
It's the best soup. My favorite soup in the whole world, if I'm really honest. So I have it. I found this one restaurant in town that does this soup, and I'm pretty sure I'm keeping the restaurant going because I order a lot of soup from them, like a lot. And it's my favorite thing. So I come home, I have that, I watch the race, and then walk my dog down to the beach. And it's definitely different to the previous years. You could go out and socialize with people. You could go out to dinner. I had my family there, so we'd go out to dinner with a group of family and friends, and we'd probably party, to celebrate together. But you can't do that now. So come home, put my feet up, watch, and just realize how, try to realize what it is I've just done.
I'm so glad your victory celebration was pandemic related, because James Hunt would have been rolling in his grave if he knew that's how you celebrated your seventh championship.
Probably. I mean, geez, I wish that it could have been a different celebration, but I think hopefully hopefully next month's a better month for us, and I hope that, like, for Christmas, I really hope I can be with my family, and that for me is where we get to celebrate. Like, those are the people that have been with me since day one, and those are the guys that truly believed in me at the beginning, and so to share it with them is all that matters to me.
Your seventh championship draws you equal to the great Michael Schumacher. In fact, last month, Michael Schumacher's son presented you with one of his F1 helmets. What do these moments mean to you?
It's been surreal, just the whole journey, from first even getting to Formula One, meeting Ron Dennis, equaling Ayrton Senna, getting his helmet given to me after I equaled his qualifying. Being on the track with Michael back in 2000, I must have been 2006, I think, the first time I was with him on track. Yeah. And then many years later, having his son come up to me and present me with a trophy after I've equaled the wins. I mean, I have to pinch myself, and I have to really just try to, it's just humbling. It really is. And it's very, very surreal. I've been so fortunate to work with great people who have provided me with the opportunity and the platform to be able to do what I do, to like drive the way I can drive. You can't do that without a good team. can't do that without a good car. So I'm really, really grateful for every lesson learned, and it's been a real privilege, I would say, and it's given my life meaning naturally.
Well, let's speak about that platform. Overnight, you were named the UK's most influential black person. Congratulations. You know, your legacy on the track with 7 world titles now is absolutely assured, and I'm sure there's more titles in your future. But are you thinking more about your legacy off the track now?
No, I get asked that question a lot about legacy, and I've never really, it's not something that I wake up and think, okay, I'm working towards this. That legacy is something I guess people speak about at the end, and I guess ultimately it's the actions and the things you do through life. I think I've been winning these races and these championships over time, and been so single-minded with that, but also then winning them and thinking, well, what does it actually really mean? And you know, and the goal has always been, in my mind, I'm thinking, even if I can just convince one young kid out there, wherever it is in the world, to believe in himself and to not give up, and to set whatever dream he set to chase it like his life depended on it, and help him get there, that would mean a huge amount to me. But of course, we're now living in a time where things have happened that I didn't know that this who would have thought the whole movement with Black Lives Matter would happen? It brought up a lot of emotions for me that I experienced as a kid, and even as an adult. You know, just the racial abuse that I experienced, it brought up a lot of that. And I look at my niece and nephew who are biracial, and I'm thinking, geez, I've got to do something with this time that I'm standing on the podium. I've got to use it for good. I've got to use it to help change. And it's not a negative change, you know, like people shouldn't be afraid of change. You know, we've got to evolve, we've got to improve. And so I'm really proud this year that I've been able to be a part of a movement that people have been coming, you know, united and coming from different walks of life. There've been white people, black people from all different religions coming together, fighting for equality. And that makes me really proud to have been out there and fighting with them.
You made a big statement in Austria when you took a knee for the first time. What was that moment like? Did you feel empowered? Did you feel nervous, knowing that the eyes of the world were all centered on you in that moment? What did that moment feel like?
Yeah, I remember. I'll never forget the build up to it. You know, people said that, oh, have you asked all the drivers to take the knee? The fact is, I didn't. I didn't speak to. I wanted everyone to make their own mind up, and so I never brought it up. It was actually raised to me, you know, in the background, like the guy said, we're going to get all the drivers to take the knee. I hadn't even decided whether that was what I was going to do. I looked into what Colin Kaepernick had done, what Martin Luther King had done all those years ago, and I knew that it was something that I should do, and you know, I needed to use that platform in that 5 seconds that we get to show such a symbolic gesture, which hopefully people will see and try to then research what that actually really means. And that's already part of the process, educating each other. And I remember just before also, I was giving an End Racism t-shirt. I said, I felt compelled as the only black man there to wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. And it definitely was nerve-wracking because, you know, you don't know what the bounce back is going to be. You don't know how people are going to perceive it. You don't know how people in the sport are going to react. Because, you know, but it was well received. And I think the sport realized that this is actually not politics. This is an actual human rights issue. And it is a great platform in order to fight for that. Every human in the world deserves equal rights. That's not too much to ask for, is it?
Not at all. And quite a lot of your fellow drivers participated. They took the knee. Some didn't, about half a dozen, I believe, in Austria. What are your feelings towards them, those drivers who decided not to kneel or to take part in more public protests?
Well, I think ultimately it is a personal choice. And what I do know is that pretty much all of the ones that didn't stand, but even some of that didn't take the knee, but also some of the ones that did have not grown up around racial, perhaps not been subject to it and not been around it, maybe not had friends who have had it. I've got friends, for example, that one of their best friends, he told me just recently, his best friend of 46 years he's a white man, and his best friend is a black guy. And he had said, you know what, I realized I hadn't even asked my best friend in the whole 46 years of the racial issues that he experienced. And finally, we've had that conversation, and it's never too late. But I think I was really proud of the guys that did and continue to do so. And I was still proud of the guys for wearing the end racism top. I didn't feel any way to them. I just felt that most often it's just a lack of understanding of what it means, and it sometimes takes conversation. Maybe you won't get there with everyone, but I was really proud. I'm proud to have Seb standing next to me. I think Latifi is always next to me too, and who really understand that it is a human rights issue, and it's to help people.
Motor racing is not the most diverse sport. I mean, you are literally the only black driver in the history of Formula One, which sounds crazy when I say that loud. Obviously, you are more than aware of this. You've set up the Hamilton Commission to address this. How do you address the lack of diversity in Formula One?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. I think ultimately, since I've been here, I mean, I've really walked alone in this sport. Luckily, I've had my dad by my side, but we've definitely experienced some difficulties along the way. And I think probably one of the worst ones was Spain, when people turned up, painted their faces black, and pretending to be my family and mocking us. And I think no one at the time did anything. The sport never said anything. They just let it happen. And I think what we're seeing this year, I think the sport has recognized that it needs to do more. Naturally, I called them out also, so it's needed them to respond. Right now, for example, in my team, we've taken a big stance in changing our car from silver to black. We also acknowledge, and it's not a bad thing to acknowledge, you shouldn't be embarrassed, it's like we haven't done enough, and we have only 3% diversity within our team. So we're doing diversity and inclusion training within the team. We're doing non-biased hiring training. We're looking at widening the HR department is widening the scope of where it recruits from. We're also partnering with a young school group in South London for mostly that is mostly minorities, to help give them opportunities to get into STEM subjects. The idea with the commission, the commission is mixed of people that academics, people that are in engineering, people that are in black communities on the ground working and actually seeing what the real issue is in schools. That's my dog. And then in politics. And it's been a learning process also for them, and we were all learning together in it. But it's to come up with recommendations at the end of this research. We want to have firm recommendations of what policies we can push to change, what we can do for the curriculum, how we can find out what the barriers are, so we can help push more young black kids into those STEM roles.
You might be getting the hint that it's time to walk the dog. What's his name?
Roscoe.
And does Roscoe travel with you?
He travels everywhere with me. Yeah, he's my travel companion. That's funny.
Roscoe looks like a bit of a rascal. And speaking of rascals, as an Aussie, I feel like I need to apologise on Australia's behalf for Daniel Ricciardo. I'm sorry he's introduced a shoey culture to Formula One. What's it like? Although you did submit recently, you actually submitted and took part in a shoey. How was the experience?
Oh God, I had a stomachache for the rest of the afternoon. Oh geez. I think I'm very much of the mindset never say never, because you most often live to regret it. Although I don't want to do it again. I think it was a really great moment. And in actual fact, he was so kind to he took that boot and signed it and sent it to me in this last race. So I'll always have that moment that I share with him. But you know, he's such a great talent, Daniel, and got so much charisma and character. And I think he you know, the sport really embraces him. And I'm super excited for like the next stages when he moves to McLaren next year, and what he's going to do with that team. And I think our friendship and our understanding of each other has grown also. He's also come forward and said, I didn't even realize, I hadn't noticed how much racial inequality there is around the world. And he's one of those who stands by me. So I'm really grateful for that.
Next time when you do a shoe, maybe have some minestrone soup ready to go. I think
Even
that's the key.
drinking out my own shoe sounds horrible. I don't want my sweat from my own foot. But anyway, now I've experienced something that not many people have, and at least you got to try everything once.
Absolutely. Lewis, thank you so much for your time. We really hope we see you back in Melbourne for the start of the 2021 season. And maybe next time you're in Melbourne, if you do a burnout, we might let it go this time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You stay safe, all right?
You too, mate.
Take care of yourself.